So you're struggling with your two-handed backhand. A lot of players prefer their forehand over their backhand. In fact, most players do. There's an error that we see at the recreational level more than any other error on the two-handed backhand, but it's a relatively easy fix. And the error I'm talking about is the chicken wing. And the chicken wing is occurring with the dominant arm. Some players, I think of the chicken wing with their non-dominant arm, but on the two-handed backhand, it's completely okay to make sure that this arm is bent. What we don't want to do, however, is on the forward swing, allowing this elbow to get too bent, hence the chicken wing here, and then we end up cutting the follow through short and we swing too vertical in the ball and not enough through the ball. Now, real quick, just to be clear, there's multiple ways to take the racket back on the two-hander. You can go double straight arm, right? We don't see that as much anymore, but it was definitely popular for quite some time. You can have a slight bend in one arm and straighten out the other arm. So a lot of times we'll see players be fairly straight in their front arm and bent on the back arm. Or you see sometimes players reverse it, where the back arm is straighter and the dominant arm is a little bit more bent. Most players will have a slight bend to both arms. But what we want to be really careful of is this major bend in the dominant arm resulting in the chicken wing. Now, the reason this happens is kind of a fundamental issue, a fundamental issue with the way the backhand is perceived. And a lot of times players are thinking about lifting their backhand, and when they do that, what ends up happening is they try to climb up the ball, their elbow flares out, and we can see that there, swinging forward, and then the elbow flares, and then from here, everything circumvents up and cuts out the rest of the strokes. They're not going through the ball. We want to think of getting on top of the ball and going through it. The other piece is not just fundamentally thinking about getting under the ball as opposed to going through it. It also happens quite a bit if our weight is going backwards. So a lot of times we're trying to get space on the backhand. We think about swinging up, and inevitably, as we swing up, the weight tends to shift, and that is the problem. So how do we fix it? Well, we're going to use a tool that we see in baseball. So a lot of times when we see a batter hit, when they swing, they'll let go and let the follow through come through with just the non-dominant hand, especially in batting practice. This is something you want to do on the non-dominant side of your body and just practice what this feels like. So as you're setting up as if you were hitting a baseball, as you're letting it come through, boom, and let it go. And what this does is it helps you straighten out the front arm so that you're driving the butt cap at the ball, and then from there, as you lead out to contact, the racket goes through the contact zone and then finishes up and across and over. And this is why you see with Djokovic, you see the best backhands in the world where they finish, and it's this long process of getting the arm all the way around. They're not just going immediately up, they're going out and then up because they're swinging through the ball. It might occur to you, there's a very famous player that swung exactly like what I'm referencing in the baseball swing. If you think about what Bjorn Borg did on his two-handed backhand, he let go with the left hand. So oftentimes he would hit and the hand would come off. It was very unique to his stroke, but it looked a lot like a baseball swing. So where it's coming through and letting it go. If that works for you, fantastic. It's not something that I advise putting into practical application, but I do think it's something that you have to practice because a very hard habit to break is this swinging up and getting the chicken wing, right? We want to make sure that we're going through the ball, getting a full axis of rotation and not circumventing and swinging up. Another way to think about this is a drill of taking the ball earlier in the court and really driving through. Let the ball stay high, take it early, and drive through it to be aggressive. And that's going to help straighten the arms out and keep the contact in front. Because both arms can be bent, they just can't be entirely bent resulting in a chicken wing. So that's it, the biggest error that we see on the two-handed backhand. I hope today's tip helped an absolute ton. If it did, leave us some comments, maybe share it with somebody that's struggling with their backhand. And if you're looking for someone to practice with, you want to get out here and fix your backhand, check out PlayYourCourt.com, link down in the comments, and we'll help you find players to partner with and practice with. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.